Sassy Stuff. I'm Emma here with Georgia, and we are breaking down Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. Under the glow of the Notre Dame Dome, it was Texas A&M who shone the brightest. The Aggies stunned number 8 Notre Dame 41-40 in South Bend, thanks to Marcel Reed's heroics and a final 13 seconds. This one had everything: blocked punts, explosive touchdowns, and emotional injury, and a game winning drive. So, Georgia, what did you think about this game?
This game was not what I was expecting, but it was very fun. And it was another game we covered Georgia, Tennessee, and this was another game where I was just like, where's the defense? What is happening? It's just scoring everywhere, and it was stressing me out. The lead kept changing, and I was like, this is so fun. But yeah, it was a great game. Early fireworks, Notre Dame blocked a punt and scored, but the Aggies always had a response every single time Notre Dame would score. Marcel Reed hit Craver for an 86-yard touchdown, tying it at 7. And then both teams just, they went back and forth. But yeah, like you said, it was very, very entertaining. Obviously, we had a really bad injury with Bryce Anderson. Prayers for him. He was moving, so that is a good sign. He did give us a thumbs up, but he was carried off in a stretcher with a neck brace on. So that is always a really scary thing for football. We had a lot of injuries yesterday, unfortunately. It was just like injury central, but that was definitely one of the worst ones. You don't ever want to see people get carted off the field. But A&M just did not stop. They didn't ever lose the vision of we're going to win this game, and they kept working at it. And I was really impressed by Mike Elko as well. I like him as a coach, so I think he did a really great job coaching, which sometimes I can say he doesn't, but he did a good job last night.
Yeah, absolutely. And Reed wasn't perfect, but he threw for a career high 360 yards. He delivered in the biggest moment of his career. So, this is the QB that the Aggies have really been waiting for. And they have a great wide receiver in Craver who was unstoppable. He had speed and he has great separation ability, which really changed this offense. And this is what they've been needing. They do need to clean up the mistakes. They had 13 penalties, a stagnant third quarter that nearly cost them, but they prove they can still win ugly, which I think is one of the biggest bright sides of the SEC is we know how to win ugly. We always will fight, 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 fight. When it gets hard. So I think that's a great thing that this program did against Notre Dame, especially on the road. And for Mike Elko's program, this is a breakthrough. This is the first road win over a team in 10 years, over a ranked team in 10 years against his former school. It is a true statement victory. And now Notre Dame is 0-2 with losses to Miami and A&M. I mean, their margin is gone. Granted, a 10-2 Notre Dame team, I think, gets in the playoffs regardless because they are Notre Dame. They're one of the big brands in college football. But they would kind of be like Indiana. I'm not certain about the rest of their schedule, but I would say they probably don't have a quality win on there because these are two tough teams that they just lost to. But I would say that they'd still get in, but they do not have a margin for error anymore.
No, and I mean, they have some great stars like Jeremiyah Love, their running back. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, 36-yard receiving touchdown. And he is the most dangerous weapon on the field for the Irish, and he's fun to play, fun to watch. So they definitely have the key components to win. They just have to figure it out. I don't know what happened. I thought they were going to be able to win this game. Notre Dame was. I'm glad they did it. This is great for the Aggies.
They just had too many breakdowns in coverage, not enough pass rush, giving up 360 through the air, and a 74-yard game-winning drive. That was the big difference there. So they have a lot to address defensively. But again, I think the rest of their season is relatively manageable. I believe they play Purdue next. So I do still see them in the playoffs, but they lose one more game. And I'm like, I just don't think you can justify it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then with Mike Elko, there definitely needs to be just some adjustments in just playing better. Like you said, it was an ugly win and there were 13 penalties. That's not acceptable. Honestly, when you have 13 penalties, you shouldn't win a game. That's shooting yourself in the foot 13 times.
Yeah,
So there definitely needs to be more discipline so that they stop making these errors and issues. Um, so that they can win better, win not ugly. So that when you look at the game, you don't say, "Oh, well, they won, but they didn't win well."
right.
They need to be able to win and be like, "Oh yeah, that was not luck. It wasn't who
Mhm.
scored last. It was a really good game." And I will say at the end, they were really stressing me out. You know, they're in the red zone and they it came down to the last play. They just could not get past Notre Dame defense. And I was like, every single time they tried, I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose." And they finally pulled it off with the fourth down, but it was stressful. And it's just props to Notre Dame's defense for being able to do that when they weren't able to really do anything for the majority of the game. They did almost hold them to not scoring in those last seconds.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at Notre Dame's schedule. They play Purdue next week. And I mean, they'll win Purdue's basketball school. And then Notre Dame goes to Arkansas. Arkansas just put on a great showing against Ole Miss, and they fight hard. So imagine if they lose to Arkansas. I mean, I think you can't justify them getting in the playoffs at that point, and that would kick them out of the playoffs in September. So, I mean, there are times in the schedule that I'm looking at that they could drop the ball and lose a third game. And I just think at that point, then their season going to the CFP is over. Granted, they'll still make a bowl game, but they really have to lock in now and they have to make sure each and every day they're being intentional with what they're doing and making sure they're cleaning up the mistakes, especially on the defense, which was a problem point for them last night. So if Notre Dame really wants to make the playoffs, they have to lock in now because this is not a great start, obviously.
Yeah, no. And you know what? As an SEC girl, I'm not worried about them. Who cares? But for the Aggies, this is great for them. They're riding
Oh yeah.
high, 3-0. This is great for Mike Elko. Marcel Reed obviously is a star. We all knew he was a star. And he just has, yes, he has room for improvement, but he definitely is able to help this Aggie team win. I think there was a lot of noise off season with people being like they're going to be great, and everyone's like, y'all say that every year, but so far they're doing great. They just need to work on those penalties. But what do y'all think? Are the Aggies in for the college football playoff conversation yet, or have y'all not seen enough from them?
They
We
got a
shall
pretty
see.
hard schedule.
They do have a very hard schedule, so we'll see where they end up, but let us know what y'all thought about this game, and we'll see you next time.